Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisco Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Whiteout Survival, I want to give you a comprehensive approach to refined fire crystals, the way you get to FC8, because man, I was honestly so unprepared, and this is the video that I wish I had explaining what the heck is going on, because fundamentally it's pretty simple, but if you're a spreadsheet nerd, then you can get ahead. And great news, you don't have to be one because other people have done the work. And courtesy of the folks that have posted it into my Discord server, linked down below, I'll be able to share with you over the course of this video the strategy that I wish I had from day one. The thing I wish I understood. So let's get after it. What's really going on here? Well, you know, at some point in your journey, you will gain access to the ability to go to FC level 8. And when that happens, FC level 6, 7, and 8 all require this new thing called a refined fire crystal, which you can make in your crystal laboratory. Good news, bad news. You can make a lot of these every single week. The bad news is that it's a lot of fire crystals. The faster you want to go, the more fire crystals it's going to be. And the way this works is you pay some amount of fire crystals and you get some amount of refined fire crystals. Now, I've made a bunch of YouTube shorts showing my results from this, so you can check out those YouTube shorts. If you want, you can just do a search on YouTube for Chisco Refined Fire Crystal. You'll see plenty of videos where I've gone in and done this. You can see it in action. But every day, the first time you do this, you get a 50% discount. Every time after that, you pay the full price for the tier you're at. In other words, every 20 times you do these refinements, the cost goes up, the reward table changes, and in general, I think you're getting on average, you know, like less refined fire crystals per fire crystal spent. So you can actually see this. You hit the little exclamation point, and for your first 20 super refinements is what they're called, you've got these odds. But then the cost goes up, and from 21 to 40, this is your odds. And then from 41 to 60, the cost goes up again, and this is your odds. You can see I pay 100 now. Then it goes up again for pulls 61 to 80. And then it goes up again to 81 to 100. Okay? Now, what's important to understand here is that every week, the costs reset back down. So every time your VIP shop would reset, this is going to reset as well, which means the way to think about your optimization to getting FC level 8 is the number of resets of this thing you're going to have before you get there. Because as I explained, the faster you do this, the more FC you're going to pay, more fire crystals you're going to pay per refined fire crystal. So the more time you have, the better value you can get for your fire crystals. Okay? So the way to think about this is the number of weeks you have until you're going to spend them all in SVS prep, because obviously you're not going to use these before SVS prep other than to do like what I'm doing, passive slow building toward a new tier of, you know, your FC level, right? Like, you know, it's a lot of days in between SVSs, right? So it'd be a shame to waste 30, 40 days of passive, I guess like 30 days of, you know, passive growth or building, right? That's what it really is. So anyways, I run these passively. I don't speed them up. I just let them cook. Okay. So with all that said, I'm going to pull up the charts now. And there's really like two charts we need to look at, two types of charts. The first is just an overview of the costs. The second chart is going to be the detailed strategies given the number of weeks you have until you enter into SVS prep. Let's pull it up. Okay, so this first chart is showing you, hey, for FC6, as an example, how many RFC do I need in total, and how many fire crystals do I need in total to actually complete whatever the thing is, okay? And that's just for each individual building. These are all the different buildings that you can upgrade. So, you know, if I want to do the infantry camp, I'm going to need the 405 fire crystals and the 25 refined fire crystals. and that's for FC6 troops. So first I got to get my furnace to level 6, then I get the camps up. But the thing that's kind of interesting about this is that you don't have to max all these buildings to go to the next level. In other words, I could max everything at FC6, but the only thing that's required is your furnace, the embassy, and I think one of the troop training centers. I can't remember which camp it is. Maybe there's one of them that you need. The same is, I think, true of FC7 to 8, and the same is true of 6 to 7. So the significance of this is that although it says the grand total here is, this number to get everything to FC6 level, you don't actually want to do that. A lot of my buildings, like the infirmary, my war academy, my command center, those aren't FC6 yet. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you obviously want all these things, but look, the name of the game is limitations, and you will be limited in your push. So how do you plan? This is where things get spicy. These spreadsheets break it all down, and there's a sheet for each different strategy, and I'm going to explain it. You can kind of ignore the dates in here. This is for someone when they got it, we got it at a different time, okay? But the point of what they're showing is that there's basically 4 cycles, 4 weeks, hopefully for you, leading up to a prep. Now, we only had 2 weeks before prep. So it was crazy for us. Our cost was insane to get the same thing as somebody who had 4 weeks. But whatever, you hope to have 4 weeks. If you're unlucky, it shows up and you only have 2 weeks until your prep week, okay? So what this is saying is if you want to go to FC8 and get the camps, so FC8 troops, and this is actually only one branch, I think. So this might be like just infantry. So I think that's probably what this is. So if you want to just get to FC8 and just get one troop type to FC8, which I think is the best goal. Let me talk about that for a second. I thought I want to get all my troops up to FC7. Now, I didn't have the fire crystals to do this strategy anyways, but if I did, this is way better. You want to get one troop type for your first SVS at a minimum up to FC8 if you're a spender. And the reason is that you can always just send that troop type and that troop type only. If it's infantry, it's infantry. If it's lancers, it's lancers. And you want to have the troop tier advantage. That's way better than getting all your troops to FC7, which is what I did. It's less RFC and fire crystals to do, which is why I could do it. But the point that I'm trying to make is I didn't even know what the goal was going into this, and this is the goal. So to do this, you need to do 60 refinements the moment that this shows up, okay? Then, every day, as I mentioned, you get a 50% off discount. So then you do your 50% off discounts leading up to the next weekly reset. Then you do the 60 all at once again. You do the 50% off every single day. Then you do 40. Then you do the 50% offs. Then you do 50. Now, 50 is kind of a weird number, but I suppose you could do 40 and then just one per, and then on the last day, you could do more. But the reason I think they pull it forward is you want them for building and SVS prep starts on day 1. You're going to want them early. So yeah, I think that's kind of what's going on there. So the grand total of fire crystals that it looks like you need is listed up top. The fire crystals, the resources, everything you need to get FC8, and I think only one camp to FC8. So you get one FC troop. It looks like so you need 6,228 fire crystals, 506 refined fire crystals. To get that, you're going to need a grand total of 18,200 fire crystals. Yikes. So basically, it's the 6,228 raw fire crystals and the raw fire crystals it's going to take to do all this conversion to refined fire crystals, which is why that grand total is so high, 18,200. I knew I needed more than I had. Okay, so the next option, if you're a lunatic or a high spender and have 4 weeks, is to hit FC8 on everything, including the War Academy. You're a goddamn lunatic. If that's you, then you want to go 80 refinements and 2 pulls every day. 80 refinements the next week, 2 pulls every day, 80 refinements, 1 pull every day, 80 refinements, 1 pull every day. This is going to run you 38,000 fire crystals to do this strategy. You're crazy. I respect the hustle, though. If you are a big spender, you are on your way to a Golden Globe. That's the strat. All right, now FC8, camps, embassy, and the command center infirmary. This is really close to what we were just talking about, but you're doing less, okay? It's going to be 31,760 total fire crystals in pocket to pull that off. If you wanted to do the furnace, the camps, the embassy, and the command center, it's 29,000 fire crystals in total. If you want to do the furnace and the camps, which I think is a far more sane strategy, that's all FC8 troops, for your first SVS, you got to do 80, 60, 60, 55. Takes almost 25,000 fire crystals to pull off this strategy. This is what I did. The FC7 and camps only. But remember, I didn't have 4 weeks. I only had 2 weeks. Because we didn't even have it show up until 2 weeks before prep. So I had to do way more than the 40. I think I did 60 and then 80. Is what I ultimately did, okay? And again, the reason you want to get to the next tier on day 1 of weekly reset is that every day you get a 50% discount. You want the 50% discount to be on the higher tiering of both cost and rewards because you're saving more FC and getting more RFC out of the deal, okay? And so that's why you see like it front loaded to day 1 and then 1 leading up to the next sort of week and reset. All right. But the strategy I executed was this one. It ran me 11,600 fire crystals just about in order to be able to pull that off. Remember, you technically don't have to have everything for day 1, but you know, ideally you align it with whenever your state is doing a building buff. All right. A construction buff. If you wanted to go to FC6 and camps only, this is honestly relatively cheap, the cheapest of them all. You basically go to 20 refinements, super refinements, right? Every weekly reset, except for the SVS prep week where you just do 10. Easy peasy, not even 4,000 fire crystals in total to execute this strategy. You still need them saved up. And the thing that gets a little weird is the prioritization of like, hey, do I go for T11 or do I go for higher FC level? And I think if you could get to FC8 tier 10s, that would be better than FC5 tier 11s. But FC6 tier 11s is, I think, better than FC8 tier 10s. Holy cow, it's complicated to say it out loud. Anyways, there is, this was the original strategy again. The one that I wish I had gone for. FC8 and 1 camp, just 1 camp. I didn't have the fire crystals for this, but it didn't take that many more than what I had. I just wasn't prepared. This is in part because I was coming off of the cancer situation, which for the record is, a lot better than it was before. I am theoretically at this point cancer free and also slowly still recovering. I still can't lift or walk as much as I'd like. So I can't lift at all, can't walk yet, but we're getting there. Well, I mean, I can walk, but I'm like just doing it to walk to where I need to go. I'm not like putting in miles like I used to for fitness reasons. Anyways, whatever. Now that I've been really confusing, let's just jump back in game. So there's obviously a slew of benefits that come with upgrading your buildings, okay? And I just want to kind of go over that, all right? So getting to FC8 is cool, but each of these buildings bestows a benefit. The troops are obviously incredibly powerful. If I get up to, FC8, I unlock a new skill. The new skill is obviously very good. So the FC8 troops were really, 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 really meaningfully different than the FC7s. I would know. I had 7s, other people had 8s. It was super meaningful. So FC8 is a very important chase. The War Academy, you may think, well, why would I even do it? It's not required. Well, 9% research speed ain't bad. Y'all, that ain't bad. Okay, A 9% research speed? That ain't bad. Okay, I had already done a ton of speeding up of my research, but I still have more to go. 9% is a big discount. Plus, who knows what other research they'll add. Plus, there's the research within here that, you're probably still doing, like I am. Anyways, but more important, in my opinion, obviously the embassy was required to get to new levels, and this is giving you reinforcement capacity. Honestly, not that important, but this one is pretty important. Command center. This is giving you rally cap and also deploy cap. This is a big deal. Like, troop capacity is a big deal. Like, when I get to FC8 and have this thing maxed, I'm going to be adding over 10,000 capacity to my march size. That's big. We're also looking at adding, almost 80,000, 75,000 to the rally cap. Also a big deal for the rally leads out there. So yeah, this building is really crucial. The command center is a big deal. Then there's the infirmary. This is giving you more hospital capacity. I mean, I'd be happy if they 3x'd the base hospital capacity over here, but it is what it is. So yeah, you get a little more hospital capacity, but in general, having a low troop count is not a bad hedge here against all kinds of bad outcomes. Anyways, there's a lot of reasons why you would want troops though, so I'm not going to tell you not to train troops. All right, so I think that covers everything that I wish I had known day one. The moment that we got these refined fire crystals, you enjoyed the vid, then throw a like on here, consider subscribing. I hope that it was helpful. Shout out to my community on Discord. Link is down below. My Discord community delivers incredible information and value. You should go check it out because you want to just get that value. It doesn't cost you anything. You just join the Discord and hang out and check the pinned links in the important links section. That's where the good stuff is, in my opinion. All right. If you want to see me push to FC7 or what that looked like, I'll have a card in the end screen. It'll be right over here. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.